Prosper has been about our school zoning. As you may know, there are 4 new campuses that are going to be opening in the fall of 2025, and I wanted to take today to spend some time with our school board member, Mr. Garrett Linker, and he's going to share some insight with us about what's going on with the schools, how we have 4 new campuses opening, and really what that looks like with our school zoning and our explosive growth that is happening here in Prosper.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for having me, Stacy.
Thank you very much for coming in today.
Absolutely.
I really do appreciate your time and even more so the expertise that you're going to share with us.
It's good to be with you.
So there are four new campuses that are opening in the fall of 25,
Yeah.
which is another big banner year for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that right now we get new students in the district every week. What's our approximate kind of student count right now?
We are very close to, if not already past 32,000.
Wow.
So just before the Thanksgiving break, we were just a couple hundred under 32,000. So it's possible that after the holiday, we could have hit that mark.
Wow, it's true. Every week there are hundreds of new kids that come into the school district, which I think is really one of the reasons that necessitates our growth and needing to have all of these new campuses.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. We've got 4 campuses that are coming in.
We do.
We have 2 elementaries, which will be
Number 19 and 20. 19 is Thompson Elementary. Number 20 is Smotherman Elementary.
okay. And then we've got a middle school.
6th middle school, Mosley Middle School. Number 4 high school for
Yeah.
Prosper ISD.
Our number 4, Richland
Yeah.
High School, that is going in just adjacent to Windsong Ranch. Some of you, I'm sure, are very, very much aware of where that campus is going in. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, these are 4 new campuses that are going into the Prosper District, which in total is going to get us to 30 campuses across the entire district,
I think that's right. Yeah.
which is kind of crazy to think about. 30 different campuses.
And
So-
a lot just in the last couple of years. Probably when you got here, I mean, not even close to
Exactly.
a small
These are all
fraction of that.
west of the tollway.
They are all 4 that are opening next year, all west of the tollway.
Yeah, which is where the growth is happening. Absolutely. So let's talk about this. Like, as far as like what these schools are going to be opening up with, right? I mean, our elementary schools, their floor plan, is it remaining the same? Is it going to be kind of typical for a Prosper ISD elementary?
Yeah, 19 and 20, it's going to be the same floor plan that we've had at least for the last several elementary schools. Our middle school floor plan changed with Daniel Jones Middle School for a little larger capacity, and Mosley is following that. But the elementaries will be the same, at least for now.
Okay, so Jones, which is located right next to Rock Hill High School off of Coit and 380 area, is a really, I mean, it's a spectacular campus, but can you tell us a little bit about what that floor plan looks like and what you hope to achieve?
Yeah, so the last several middle schools we've had have been 1.5 stories. This was the first middle school that we did a full 2-story, which increased the capacity from 1,200 to 1,500. And so that was kind of our new layout that we have replicated now with Mosley, and I think will probably be the continued floor plan for a couple reasons. The big reason is, as you know, the growth is happening so quickly. So by building schools that are a little bit larger, we can house more students, more teachers, more programs. And then depending upon what the actual growth looks like in the next several years, it's possible that building slightly larger schools could shave one of those off of the master plan, and then of course save taxpayers money from not having to use more of that bond money that was approved.
Yeah, that's really smart. I think Jones being a 2-story facility, it makes a lot of sense because you also save money by going vertically instead of trying to do everything on a single story.
Exactly.
So that's really good use of tax dollar funds, I think. So let's talk a little bit then about Richland, right? Because I know everybody's very excited about Richland that's going to be opening up. Richland Raiders.
Richland Raiders, purple.
Purple. We're adding purple to the color.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. So I know that the decision was made that Richland will be a 9th through 12th grade.
Yeah, initially there was some consideration about possibly opening up just 9-10. It's easier to open when it's not all 4 grades, but again, with the growth, and then folks on the west side of town were really excited to have a high school. And so I think there was a lot of juniors and seniors that were interested in going to Richland. So through the feedback that we received in that process, admin decided to recommend an opening of 9 through 12. So it'll open with all 4 grades. The seniors, of course, will have a choice if they want to stay at Prosper High or if they want to come over to Richland. I think right now they're in that initial phase of trying to see how many want to stay or how many want to come. So that will help Dr. Croy as he goes to hire and figure out, classes and all of that.
Yeah. Well, we want to give seniors that option, of course, because. And then, what is the capacity for Richland?
I don't know what the actual capacity will be, but I think we expect, obviously, the first year opening, it's going to be kind of like Walnut Grove was. So it's not going to be at full capacity, nowhere near that. But as we get to the second year and third year, it'll be built out to, house the full amount of students that it's going to be built for. I don't know exactly what the full capacity will be, but I can find out for you.
Okay, that's fine. So then let's talk about the middle schools, because we have Mosley Middle School that's opening.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be a 2-story building with a capacity of 1,500.
Correct.
Are you anticipating Mosley to be full upon opening?
The projections are pretty close. The reason is we've got Rushing, which is over capacity. We've got Reynolds, we've got Rogers. All of our middle schools, for the most part, are over capacity. Hayes was until Jones opened up this year. So we're gonna fill Mosley the first year, I think, when it opens.
Wow.
Which is gonna really help provide a lot of relief for both Reynolds and Rushing Middle School.
Yeah. So how about the zoning for the middle schools? I know that there has been a lot of discussion on how that's working.
Yeah.
And primarily this relates to, some different neighborhoods where with rezoning, this happens with any district that's growing, especially as quickly as we are, that there's certain neighborhoods that you might move into and then you might be subject to, having to rezone to different schools just based on growth and what the capacities of the schools are. So can you talk a little bit about how that's affecting some neighborhoods?
Yeah, the zoning part is one of the harder things we have to do as school board members, and it's super tough for the district too. This is the first year I've actually sat on the zoning committee, so I was able to go through that initial proposal and be part of collecting that feedback from the community. And it's hard because anytime you're moving kids and impacting them, whether it be due to programs or athletics or friends, they're used to the teams they're on, they're used to their friends, and the neighborhoods that they're in obviously want to stay together. And so when we have to start making changes, it's hard. But what we have to try to keep in mind is the safety of students. Obviously, we don't want campuses that are so over capacity. Our teachers, the more students we have, the more burnout they can have. So we want to be mindful of our teachers, our staff, our students, and then the experience kind of overall. So that's why. But with this round of zoning, we initially had to help with relief for Reynolds Middle School, decided to move Star Trail and Creeks to Mosley for 1 year before that next middle school was going to open closer to their neighborhood, fall of 26. But again, through the feedback process and in hearing from the neighborhoods, admin decided to give 7th and 8th graders a choice to stay at Reynolds or to go to Mosley for 1 year. Just because it's hard when you're in middle school and potentially having to go to a different school every single year. Our current 6th graders that are at Reynolds would potentially go to Reynolds 1 year, Mosley the following year, and then in 8th grade to the middle school that opens fall of 26. So we didn't want to do that. It was, going to be hard on the kids, so they did make that adjustment, which I think was good. But yeah, Creeks of Legacy and Star Trail were the 2 neighborhoods primarily that were impacted due to that temporary change for when Mosley opens.
And so is this the only year that those Creeks of Legacy and Star Trail students will be able to make that choice?
Yeah, so them and their zone for Mosley is just going to be for that 1 year, because the following year there will be a middle school that opens close to Legacy Gardens We don't have a name for it yet, but that's going to be, right there between Star Trail and Creeks, and then of course Legacy Gardens as well. So that will be most likely. I mean, we haven't made a decision, but where they would be zoned for.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Middle school is tough enough, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to have the added burden of having them switch so many times.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't have a middle schooler yet, but everybody tells me that's sometimes the hardest years for our kids. So definitely your heart goes out to them, and want to minimize change as much as we can.
Exactly. That's very true. Okay, and then our elementary schools, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have 20 elementary school campuses in the fall of 2025. What's been going on with zoning for all of those? What's been kind of hot buttons that you've...
There wasn't as many hot buttons with the elementary schools. I guess I shouldn't say that. There were some. We had to move a couple of the neighborhoods east of the tollway. They're gonna be rezoned to Thompson. They're currently at Boyer, and so people love their elementary school, and they want to stay. They get used to their teachers and all of that. So anytime we have to make a move, again, it's the same type of challenges. But there are a couple neighborhoods that were going to be moved from Boyer to Thompson, and then with Smotherman opening just west of Thompson, northwest of Thompson, that's going to provide a ton of relief for Dan Christie Elementary, which is, that school filled up so quick. It just opened the year before, and already was way over capacity just with the growth in Sutton Fields in that area. So a lot of that made sense, looking at the numbers, providing relief to Christie, and then Hall and Star Trail was another one that filled up super quick. And so a lot of those families will end up at Thompson Elementary that were previously at Hall. So certainly some feedback we got that people weren't happy to be moving, but just looking at the numbers, there was really not a ton of options.
There's no other way to do it. That's, I think that's important to recognize too, because whenever people are moving into a new district, well, not a new district, a growing district, like we have here in Prosper, yes, people move here for the exceptional education, but you also have to understand that we are very much a growing district. I think I even heard the number, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we have over 3,000 kids that are added to our rosters every year.
Over 3,000. The last several years, we've added more than 3,000 every single year, which is, the size of a high school.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you see districts like Plano and Allen and some of the other districts around us that are actually closing campuses or considering that because of reduced capacity. Meanwhile, we're adding the size of a high school to our district every single year.
Every single year. Yeah. So, with coming to Prosper, there's a lot of really good to it, but you also have to kind of consider, yes, growth is happening, change is happening, and we're still building. Just geographically, our town is really only at about 50% of our total capacity. So the growth is going to continue to happen. And whenever you're looking at a specific neighborhood that you might want to be moving into, if not moving schools is something that's important to you, I think it's important to have a realistic understanding of the growth pattern, where schools are projected to be going in, and sort of what is anticipated with where you're choosing to buy and move.
And I'm glad that your expertise in your career is helping folks buy property and find their home. But I think there's some realtors that maybe don't take the time or maybe don't know the dynamics of the growth of the district. And so we hear from a lot of families that say, well, my realtor told me, this is where I will be zoned and nothing would ever change, or the builders told them that. And so, the fact that you, and I know there's a lot of other really great realtors that take the time to try to understand that so you can best advise your clients, I think is very helpful.
Yeah, well,
props to you.
Thank you. As you know, education is really very near and dear to my heart, and I do try to make myself very knowledgeable about what's happening not only within the district but within the town, to be able to educate my clients on, okay, you need to be aware that this blank patch of grass over here is zoned commercial. You will have eventually a commercial area here, and are you okay with that? Or yes, it is potential that a new school is going to be coming in so many miles away from where you live, and I think that's really important and why I consider myself a Prosper expert.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say about the rezoning, even though it's hard in the moment and nobody loves change,
Sure.
One thing that the district has done a great job with is hiring amazing school leadership. We have amazing principals and assistant principals and teachers, and so really no matter where you are in this district, you're going to have access to the absolute best education, the best teachers. I mean, they're just amazing. So I say that because when Walnut Grove first opened, or when we had kind of gone through that process, I think a lot of students that were at Prosper High were really worried about going to a new school, and we were hearing a lot of feedback that they wanted to stay. And then look at the amazing success Walnut has had, not only their first year but this year, and it's just a testament to how good Prosper is at opening campuses, identifying good leaders, and then of course recruiting the best teachers. So everybody I think will be happy, maybe not initially because of the change, but that their kids are going to have amazing opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, change is hard no matter what, and but I think Prosper is probably one of the few districts that really accepts that challenge and does an amazing job with it. I mean, the leadership, like you're talking about, the teachers that we bring into the district and retain here within the district is really second to none. I often tell people that I would put a Prosper education up against almost any private school education that's out there, because it's just that good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I really do thank you so much for your insight. I know there's always lots of questions whenever things like this happen, but in a town that's growing as fast as we are, I have full faith in our district and in our board members that are leading us, that we're all headed in the right direction for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.